The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Freshman Focus. A look at 2-year-olds in training across the Buckeye State. Freshman Focus is presented by Eldorado Scioto Downs, now racing Tuesday through Saturday, post time 5:45. By Sugar Valley Farm, looking for your next quality standard-bred racehorse? Look no further than Sugar Valley Farm in Delaware, Ohio. And by the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center, caring down to a science. And now here's your host, Roger Houston.
Welcome to another edition of Freshman Focus. Today we're here at Northfield Park to talk with trainer Cory DeyErmand about his Ohio-bred 2-year-olds in training. After this message, we'll sit down and talk to trainer Cory DeyErmand. Welcome back to Freshman Focus, as we're going to sit down and talk with trainer Cory DeyErmand. And Cory, you got in the business basically as a youngster with your dad.
Yep, I was really young. My mom and dad trained racehorses. That was how I got my start, just helping in the barn, started cleaning stalls, jogging training, kind of the basic. He had young horses as well, and they actually won a Saturday Stake final, I think, in 2011. That was kind of what, really made me feel like, okay, this is potentially a career for me as well. From
that early experience, was there ever a chance that you might not go into harness racing?
Oh yeah, pretty much the whole time. I really spent my early years, I played sports in high school, played baseball in college. I went to college, I really had no real interest. I really wanted to get out and not really be a part of it. And then, I kind of just got drawn back, after school and, started with just 1 or 2 horses and really built, right from the ground up, kind of on my own and, just worked to where I'm at now. And just every year I try to get better and do right by the people I have horses with and appreciate all the opportunities. So yeah, it definitely wasn't going to be my first choice. And, here I am like so many others too. And, I'm glad I went down that route.
This year, a gentleman named Cap, I believe, is the owner of the majority of your stable.
Yes.
Things in the future here, right now, a new facility that you'll be training at in the next couple weeks.
Yes, this year actually we have a lot of exciting things going on. We actually, the leadership of Dave and Misty Cap, who own, all the horses actually that I have, we actually have just put in a brand new training facility with a half-mile track, 44 stalls, just about as state as the art can be. Just an absolutely gorgeous place. It's really a great opportunity for me and for us, and we're really, really looking forward to getting moved in there in the coming weeks, and kind of expand on from that.
With the owner that you've got, I notice no trotters.
No trotters for me. That's something on the horizon. I get asked that question quite a bit. I think the trotting route is partially a little bit more the way to go than it used to be. The breeding's really improved in the state. I think, look, everything's tough. Everything you do, pacing colts, pacing fillies, trotting colts, trotting fillies. So it takes some skill at every level. But I'd be interested in expanding into trotters in the coming years, especially the young ones.
Fillies or colts?
I've always been a pacing filly guy. But I've had a lot of luck with colts this year. Actually, we had 4 pacing colts. All of them seem like they're going to race, and a couple of them feel like they're going to hit. And I get along really well with both. But I may actually start leaning towards pacing colts. I noticed, with other trainers. I mean, me with my size and everything, I have an easier time managing them in the barn, and they have a little rougher time roughing me up. At least still a little bit young. you know, so they, like you had mentioned it, you know, they're just a little bit more well-mannered for me, and I kind of like their demeanor. So I may make a shift more towards pacing colts, but really anything.
A lot of trainers automatically geld their 2-year-olds. You kept him as colts.
I was actually never really one to automatically geld them. I've learned that just kind of over the years. I like the kind of the advantage leaving them studs get you. You know, if they act right, I believe in you know, the natural testosterone that builds up in them, helps them grow. You know, keeps them alert, keeps them active. I still believe that it gives you an edge if you have a stud horse that you know, goes out and acts right. I think they've proven that they can be faster, that they're, you know, just they could be a little more interested. So if they're manageable, it's my preference to leave them stallions. And I think a lot of people in this business have actually started to shift to that theory too.
Now, when you start out training the horses, you bought them down in Lexington, you say in October, or, I believe would be the month.
Mm-hmm.
How soon they weren't already broke? Did you go through the breaking process right away?
They went to the breaking process right away. This was the first year that I actually did not break any of my own horses. I had a trainer in the middle of Ohio named Robert Brooks. He actually broke them for me this year, and he did an absolutely phenomenal job. Mm-hmm. Every horse came back just as good as could be. They were all very well mannered. They all acted right out of the gate. He couldn't have done a better job, and I was very appreciative of that, because just with everything we have going on, it made our life a lot easier, and you know, it's carried over through the whole season. They've acted very, very, you know, intelligent. Just everything's been good with them.
You have a couple qualifiers. By the way, do you have a spot for the next generation?
We actually did purchase a spot for the next generation 2-year-old Colt Pace. However, they had 14 people that purchased that spot. It's the only one I think that was overdrawn. They had a drawing at Scioto. Naturally, I wasn't selected. You know, it's kind of a cheap plug here. You know, I'm still in a position, you know, if anybody wants to, you know, get rid of their spot, it'd be something we'd be interested. 2-year-old Colt Pace is what we bought, and you know, we had 2 we really like for it. You still have 2 that, you know, I feel like could be in the running for it. You know, but you never know. You know, we'll see. They go so fast, you know, so early right now. You know, sometimes maybe it'll be a blessing that, you know, that we're not in there. But it was definitely something that I wanted to be in.
So if any of the 10 decide that their horse is not going to make it, you're available?
I'd be available, yeah. The race office knows that. But, you know, we're qualifying in a couple weeks, and as everybody knows, that could change right away too. You know, you could qualify and get your heart broke, and then I might be, you know, thankful that we didn't get in there. But it's a great race. It's a great race for the business. It's good money to start off the season, and the thing I like about it the most is you really don't necessarily have to be an elite level sire stake horse that early to pick up 75 grand. So it's a good race.
When it comes to racing, do you have a preference, Northfield or Scioto?
I don't really have a preference. I mean, Northfield's, I guess if I had to say, Northfield's home for us. It's an hour away from the farm, an hour away from currently stabled. It's always been where I've raced. That was quite a trek for us. I prefer the surface and the 5/8 mile style racing at Scioto better. You know, my preference really is for young horses to be at Scioto, just the way the race is set up. So probably overall I'd say Scioto, but for us trainers, you know, and you know, the shipping aspect, definitely Northfield.
Thanks, Cory, for sitting down with us and talking about your operation. And after this message, we'll go into the barn and take a closer look at the 6 Ohio breds in training in the Cory DeyErmand stable.
Racing is back at El Dorado Scioto Downs. Catch the excitement all summer long. Live racing every Tuesday through Saturday nights. First race post time is 5:45. Mark your calendar to see the future stars with the $150,000 Next Generation July 6th. Thrilling harness racing at El Dorado Scioto Downs. One track, 90 racing days, 100% action. Horse players can earn points with the new Caesars Reward Program. El Dorado Scioto Downs. Racing returns May 9th.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Welcome back to Freshman Focus as we take a look at the 6 Ohio breds featured today at the Cory DeyErmand stable. First, we're going to take a look at Seaside Pearl, a filly down by the seaside out of Wicked Intentions by No Pan Intended. You've got a lot of down by the seasides.
Yeah, this year we actually, at the last sale we bought a lot of down by the seasides. That's primarily what we bought. I think we bought one other Lather Up and a Racing Hill, and that was it. The rest of what we purchased were down by the seasides. My feeling in this state, that's what you need, to be competitive at the highest level. Yeah. And this is one of them that we got there. She was actually one of our least expensive yearlings we purchased. I believe she was $21,000 Lexington sale. She's actually a full sister to a horse that I believe it was Seaside's first crop named Moscow Mitch that brought over 100. She caught my eye. She was a little, slight built. She's really grown a lot, and kind of the interesting backstory on her, she kind of developed into one of my better ones, potentially one of my best fillies.
Do you feel that the down by the seasides are all basically the same though in stature and such?
No, there's quite a difference between them. Seaside to me is, they can be generally pretty hot, a little bit tough to manage, a little bit of an attitude, but they are fast. That's if you really want to compete in this state, it's clear that's what you need, and she kind of is actually against the mold of regular down by the seasides in my opinion. She's a really sweet horse to be around. She's perfect on the racetrack. She does everything right. She really has right along, and we have some high hopes for her really at this point. So.
How much you been with her?
She's been in 2-3 here on a race bike. My whole group, this group today, they'll all qualify here, I believe the 20th, so about 2 weeks from tomorrow, might be a week from tomorrow.
2-3, is that about the normal time you've been with all of them?
Yeah, the group, these have all been in 2-3 in a race bike here across Northfield. They'll work 2 more times in a race bike before I'll qualify them, and work out some kinks, and then we'll be ready to go.
This is the filly Seaside Pearl down by the seaside. This is a 2-year-old filly, Big Bad Beach Bunny down by the seaside of a Big Bad Bretta by Big Bad John. Why did you like this one at the sale?
I actually have a preference. I've had some good luck with down by the seaside cross with Big Bad John mares, and that's what she was. I liked how she was put together. She fits a little bit more the classic down by the seaside mold. A little bit hot on the racetrack. She can be a little bit of a handful, but she's done everything just spectacular the whole way. She's been kind of a star, in the barn, and we have high hopes for her as well. She was, a moderately priced filly there, around $41,000 at the select sale, and she was one that we kind of went there really, hoping she'd look good and hoping everything would pan out. I knew the dam a little bit. It's kind of a nice horse, and so far she's been pretty good.
You mentioned a little hot on the racetrack. Is there something you can do to calm them down?
Yeah, I mean, just all the basics, that you cover. I mean, most of the down by the seasides that I've had wear an ear hood, try to keep them a little bit cooler. But once they start going with other horses, they tend to get a little bit on the hot side. It's just kind of management, train them, a little bit different. So, she's generally trains out of a 2-hole. We haven't had her on the front too much. And she's done really well that way, responded.
Have you had her in behind the starting gate yet?
Yeah, everybody's been behind the starting gate. Everybody, has broke to that and has went well with it. It's a very smart group. I will say the seasides, tend to be pretty smart. They catch on pretty quick, and you just got to hope they're fast enough.
This is the filly Big Bad Beach Bunny down by the seaside. This is the filly Lily Grace Hill by Racing Hill out of Ain't 3 OK by Mach 3. This classic Racing Hill, small in stature.
Yeah, definitely a little bit on the smaller side. It was okay with me. For fillies, I don't mind it to be a little small, slight, finer boned. She's done everything, really right along the way. She's kind of a classic Racing Hill. She's a nice little filly. Pace is real nice. As always, she'd come right out of the gate pacing. Wasn't tough to get rigged. I believe she's the first foal out of her dam, which we always like. Really pulling for this one. She's trained down good. We expect her to make a little bit of noise this year as well. You know, just another one. Does everything right. You know, classic. You know, good behind the gate. Sit, go on the front. You know, so hopefully she can make a little money this summer.
What do you look forward to? I mean, everybody wants to be in the sire stakes or something like that, but what do you think she'll be?
You know, this filly I feel like is probably more like the Buckeye Fair level in comparison to some of my other ones. I mean, they go so fast now. I think, you know, if you go into this feeling like every horse you have is a sire stake horse, you're really going to get your heart broke. So I have a couple colts that, you know, really seem to stand out, and, you know, a couple fillies, same thing. I think she's, you know, in the mix, but, you know, I'd be pleased with her if she was a solid Buckeye horse this summer.
Do you feel like you want your horses to move up rather than move down in class?
It kind of depends on the horse. You know, I like to put them where I feel like we can win, no matter what. You know, right out of the gate, if she qualifies, you know, twice, and I like to qualify them all a couple times, like everybody I think does. Kind of evaluate from there, and then I like to put them where I feel like we have the best chance to win the race. You know, so if it's a sire stake, great. If it's a Buckeye, great. If it's a fair, that's where they go. You know, that's just how it is with racing.
This is the filly Lily Grace Hill by Racing Hill. This is the 2-year-old Colt Uniring by Down by the Seaside, and oh, she's Badlands by Badlands Hanover. Still a Colt.
Still a Colt, yeah. He's actually managed to stay a Colt this long, almost surprising myself at this point. But he's good to be around. Nice horse overall. Same thing with the other filly. You know, I'd be pleased more with this horse at a Buckeye level, but he was, when we got at Lexington, he was a little on the inexpensive side, I think 19,000, royally bred. He's actually one of the better bred colts that I have. He's got a full sister that was in the Breeders' Crown. I believe her name's Always Be Naughty. And there's another one in the family too, just royally bred. Stayed inexpensive. He was a little slight build, you know, a little on the thin side, just a little immature at Lexington, and that kept his price, you know, reasonable. We took a shot, and so far it's worked out.
When you go to the sale, do you have a price listed on your catalog that you'd go to? Or?
Yeah, it really, you know, it all depends on the horse, obviously. There's some, you know, you watch the video, you watch, you know, look at the pedigree, and you start thinking, man, this thing's bred great, the video is great, and you get to the sale, and the horse looks a little small or a little rough, and you kind of adjust your pricing at that point. Same the other way. You know, there's horses you know, at least for us, we look at and it's like, yeah, I like this one, and you get there and the horse looks great, and then all of a sudden you're bumping your level up. So this horse, you know, I really liked this video. I remember, you know, I loved his pedigree. We got there on the look side is where we kind of gave. He was a little small and a little bit immature built, and luckily for us, he's grown up some, matured well. Down by the Seaside, he's again more of the classic Down by the Seaside, a little ornery. You know, can get a little hot, but so far so good.
So you do what you want him to do, though, once
yes,
you get to
yes,
the track?
Yes, yep. He's everybody that I got's really well mannered, getting to the track, being on the track. The main thing for us is just making sure they're calm in a hole, and, you know, quiet on the front end if we get them there, if we put them there, and, you know, just making sure they're well mannered for the drivers, you know, once we qualify. You
ship them over here to train them at Northfield
this season. Sorry,
they're trailer ready by the time you go to the fairs.
Oh yeah. By the time we go to the fairs, I mean, this year they've been on the trailer a lot to ship up here and go their bigger miles training. You know, so they're broke really to everything. You know, just even right now.
And that shipping is part of the whole picture.
It's part of the process. You're right. You know, it's getting them on the trailer, getting them off the trailer, making sure they're calm, figuring out, you know, how they need to ship. You know, they need a space. Are they taking care of themselves in the ship? It's all a part of the process.
This is the Colt Uniring by Down by the Seaside. This is the Colt Oblivion Express by Lather Up out of Unsolved Mystery by Western Hanover. You know, all the trainers we've talked to this year really like their Lather Ups. What about you?
I'm not going to be an exception to that rule, because he's one of my favorite horses that we have. He's been one of my favorite horses right from day one. He's very well mannered, very professional, seems very fast. There's not really enough I can say about him. He's been kind of a special colt, training the whole way, and we have high expectations for him this summer. You know, we'll just see how it goes. But very, very well mannered horse. He comes up here, he's a complete professional. We couldn't be happier with him at this point.
You're a tall guy yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pretty big horse.
He's a big horse, yeah. He's good size. He was good size at the sale. Kind of an interesting backstory. We gave $67,000 for him. I went to the select sale. It wasn't on my list. We were really just looking at fillies. We were actually waiting for another horse to come out for us to look at. And my girlfriend Peyton in the stall saw this horse. You know, we were leaning against the stall and said, "Oh, we got to look at this one." And they brought him out, and that was it. It was like, this thing is perfect, gorgeous. Like, I just loved him. Peyton loved him, and that was pretty much it. He instantly went to the top of the list without really even being on the list. So that's how much we thought of him there.
Well, you know right away, you always pay attention to the females.
yeah, always. That's a little bit more my forte, you know, but this year we branched out and got some colts. And very, very happy I did, because he has been very, very nice, special so far. So this is the one that's got a good chance to break my heart a little bit, you know, but we'll see, and hopefully he ends up being as good as we all hope he is.
He's been around 2-3 like all the rest.
He's been in 2-2 here. He trained up here actually on Monday. Good back half in 59. He'll go 2 more times at least in the race bike actually up here, and then we'll qualify him around the 20th, I believe.
You said the back half 59. What was the final quarter?
Last quarter was 29.
29.
Yeah, and he was under wraps. He did it easy. Very nice horse, you know. So hopefully he's as nice as you know I think he is.
This is a Colt Oblivion Express by Lather Up. This is a 2-year-old Colt Billian by Down by the Seaside out of Western Drag by Dragon Again. And you paid good money for this one.
This was a $102,000 yearling purchase at Lexington, one of the more expensive ones that we bought. Another one I'm glad we pulled the trigger on. He's a full brother to Gulf Shores. You know, sometimes we stay away from the full brother thing, but you know, this is an example when I'm glad that we stuck it out and held in there and went to 102, because he's been my best horse to this point, and we have high hopes for him as well.
You mentioned on them, I think almost all of these you went to Lexington to get. Any reason you go to Lexington? You know,
like it's changed over the years where there's a lot of more down by the seasides. I feel like at Lexington the pedigrees are a little bit better there than the select sale. It's always been my fear to go there, and we you know, they go so expensive that you know it's not practical. But this year they actually went relatively inexpensive, you know, and I felt like we got some bargains. I guess it's yet to be determined, but this was one of those that we had marked, you know, early. We loved his video. We loved what he looked like. We looked at him before, and then we went there and he kind of matched what we said, and he has been just phenomenal from day one. Like this one's probably nothing to do with me. This is one anybody probably could have.
So he's a Colt. Yep. He's got a name Billian.
Billian.
It'd be nice. We could have the first $1 billion earner.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be pretty impressive. You know, but
Does he know his price tag?
No, none of the horses know their price tag. That's one thing I'll say. I've been at all spectrums of this business where you buy cheap colts, and you know they can pan out, not pan out. And believe me, I've been at the top part of the business too, where you spend a lot of money and you think, all right, I got something here because I spent a lot, and it does not work out that way. They don't know what you paid. They all have the same issues. They all have the same problems. All you're doing is purchasing lottery tickets to try to give you the best chance you can to make the most money you can if they do pan out.
Out on the racetrack, is he the leader of the pack?
He's the leader of the pack, and he's actually been really my best training horse right out of the gate. He was a little tough to get gated. That would be the only knock I would say early was we had a little bit of trouble getting him pacing it. It just took him a little bit longer, but he's also huge, one of the biggest horses I've ever had. And we've really lucked out that he stayed good gated, he doesn't interfere, doesn't hit, you know, so he's special to this point.
One thing I've noticed with your colts, they're all well-mannered here at the stall.
Yeah, today.
Today.
Yeah, they have their days. You know, they're actually really good shippers. You know, they are well mannered. I actually agree with you, but you know, they'll, you know, sometimes they get on the track, they'll see a mare, you know, and have their ears go up, you know, just like any other colt. But I do try to get them really well broke and calm.
Well, you know, you shipped over here this morning. Maybe that took the edge off.
Took a little edge off of them, probably, yeah. You know, but they love it here. They love hitting the track. They love, you know, the atmosphere. So we definitely have some high hopes for the colts that we purchased this season.
This is the Colt Billian by Down by the Seaside. Well, that wraps up another edition of Freshman Focus. I'd like to thank Cory DeyErmand and Peyton for making it very easy on us today here at Northfield Park. We hope that you will join us again next week, same time, same location for Freshman Focus.
This has been Freshman Focus, a look at 2-year-olds in training across the Buckeye State. Freshman Focus is presented by El Dorado Scioto Downs, now racing Tuesday through Saturday, post time at 5:45. By Sugar Valley Farm, looking for your next quality standardbred racehorse? Look no further than Sugar Valley Farm in Delaware, Ohio. And by the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center, caring down to a science. Freshman Focus is a presentation of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.